What is up, you amazing people? It is I, Nima, and back again today because I gotta talk about a game called Skycadia. Now, this is one of those reviews that is pretty difficult for me, so I would really appreciate anyone who likes video game content to hit that subscribe button, to like, to share, to do all that, because, yeah, this one's hard for me. And as I've said before, I owe no loyalty to anybody but you guys. But it really gets tested in a game like this, and I'll tell you why, because the developer of this game, Ian, is such a nice guy, and he's one of those people who reached out to me, talked to me with respect, and gave this channel a lot of respect, and that means a lot to me. Like, that means the world. But unfortunately, I can't. I gotta be honest. I gotta be honest with you, because you're the consumers. You're the ones who's gonna play the game, and I'm not gonna be a person who lies to you. That's not what I do. With that being said, Skycadia is an airplane shooter, kind of dogfight sort of game, where you're essentially one of three chickens. The first chicken that you can be is Captain Sanders, and with unlockables you can get to Lord Yolka and Big Bucket. And each one of them has like a stat difference. Captain Sanders is sort of the all-around kind of good player. Lord Yolka is the speed, agility guy, and Big Bucket, of course, is your defense and your powerhouse. As well as you have options for different guns, and there's about three of them in total. There's a charge gun, there's a scatter shot, and there's a rapid fire. All of this stuff gets unlocked with money, and it's money that you get from collecting bounties. These bounties are in the terms of your enemies that you're fighting, which are bugs of different sorts. Now, most of them look like they're just airplanes, but they're apparently bugs. And some of them do actually look like bugs, to be fair. I think it would reign supreme, actually, in like an N64 world. That's the graphics for it. It doesn't give a lot of information on the story, except for the fact that you are a bounty hunter, and you go from island to island, wreck the skies of these bugs and stuff. And there's been some really fun aspects of it. I gotta say that, like, the gameplay of it can be really, really fun. It's chaotic, it's fast, its performance has been fantastic, to be honest. For the graphics, I think, like, if they had maybe made them better, it might be an issue. So, like, using that 64 pixel art style, I think really complements the game really well, because, again, I've had no lag, no issues like that. It's been fast-paced air combat in the best way possible. Now, why do I have such an issue going with this game? Okay, so first off, not much story, right? As I said before, you get bounties, and these bounties unlock certain things like characters and guns, and that's about it. It doesn't tally your money. Like, you don't know what you've unlocked. Like, there's no, hey, you've already gotten 40,000 or 100,000. It doesn't say anything. You just look every now and then and something's unlocked. You don't really get to choose how to use your money, which is sort of annoying, but to be honest, there's not a lot to unlock. It's very limited, as well as the sound is, it's not good. It's very mediocre at best. And I hate saying that, because again, I love the developer. Ian is such a nice guy, but all of that I think could be overlooked. And I think even the lack of story and the repetition as it goes on. Now, you do get different biomes and different worlds, but ultimately the enemies pretty much stay the same. They escalate a little bit, but it's nothing to write home about. The biggest issue for me is value. Everything else that is sort of, repetitious or maybe a little bit limited, all of that can sort of be overlooked if this game was more on the budget side. This game is clocking it at $24.99 American, that's a lot of money for an indie game that is limited in the way that it is. Now, I may not have been the best judge of this, and I tend to run on I'm kind of cheap, honestly. Like, I compare games like Blossom Tales that are like $14.99 and give you 20, 30 hours of gameplay, and I compare that to something that gives you like a couple hours of gameplay, and I'm like, no. Like, you get more out of this, like, bang for your buck, better experience, more thorough, thought-out game, all of that. But I did let one of my friends who really loves Ace Combat and loves a lot of like flying combat games, and I let him check it out and see what he thought. And his big thing was, well, there's not a lot of them for the Switch. So he's like, so being able to play this was really fun. He really enjoyed it. He said that he thinks that the fact that it's such a limited market, he would pay $20, $25 for it. So again, that's somebody who really enjoys the game. and enjoys that style. I'm not much on like first person shooters or shooters in general, and I'm definitely not like a huge I don't know, dogfight airplane kind of guy. But I will say, yeah, this game it has some very, very fun aspects of it. Just for me, I wouldn't recommend getting it until there's a pretty big sale on it. I think a really reasonable price would be in that $12.99 range. I think that would definitely be a price that I would say I'd be willing to pay for it and willing to give it a good mark. But if I'm being honest, I have to look at everything and compare it to that price as well. And with that being said, graphics don't really hold up as well as they could, although I get it for performance. Story's got to be expanded on. Your unlockables have got to be expanded. There's got to be a little bit of I would say, a variety in enemy, bigger bosses, kind of those matches being paramount, and there has to definitely be better sound. And with all of that, put all that out, I would then say, yeah, it's a $24.99 game, but none of that is there. And so right now, I would say I'm confident that it's a $10 game, and I think you could probably argue that it's a $12.99 game, but it's definitely not for me, or $24.99. Anyway, that's my thoughts of Skycadia. Really enjoyed it. I really appreciate Ian. He's such a nice guy. And so if there's nothing else, if you just want to support a really cool developer, then, buy it, obviously. But I can't lie to you guys. I love y'all too much. Anyway, like always, I'm wishing you health, wealth, and above all, be truly happy, because you guys make me happy. Take care, guys. Bye-bye.